Absurd grinds, brutal combat perfection, soul-crushing, controller-snapping, friendship-ending levels of hard.
Logan!
The insanity of completely completing games that actively hate you. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the 20 most difficult platinum trophies you'll ever own. Starting off with number 20, it's Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. To earn a platinum trophy, you'll have to earn every other trophy in the game. And sometimes there's only one trophy that really makes the journey difficult. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus is a single-player game. It's got a breezy, fun story campaign, and it also has one of the most evil challenges in all of video games. The Mein Leben trophy is 99% of why earning platinum is so difficult in this game. Mein Leben is the hardest difficulty, which means our hero BJ Blazkowicz will go down in a split second if you're not hiding behind cover. But if it was just that, this trophy wouldn't be so legendarily difficult. What makes Mein Leben so bad is that it is a permadeath mode. If you die, you go back to the start of the game. That is 11 hours of gameplay from start to end, and if you die near the end, that's 11 hours more of gameplay to get to the end again. And with practice, it's possible to overcome a lot of the harder sections without dying, but you'll never be able to practice all of them. This challenge demands constant focus and perfect concentration. Even a single slip-up can invalidate hours of gameplay, and it's the main reason why the Platinum Trophy for Wolfenstein 2 is so rare. Trying to get this thing is like pulling teeth. We have heard horror stories of scraping to the very end only to die. Players trying for months on end while making no progress. If you're a true masochist, this is the kind of cruel and unusual trophy for you. You basically have to change how you play the game from the start. It's a game about running around and shooting like crazy with guns akimbo, but you can't play like that. This run, you're going to be camping in a corner and doing a whole lot of leaning. Also, the game won't save, so you'll need to complete your 5-hour speed run in a single session. Do not turn the console off, or you will lose everything. Moving on to number 19, it's Crypt of the Necro Dancer. This cute little rhythm roguelike is absolutely diabolical if you're aiming for 100% completion. The number of players that have completed this is in the low hundreds, just to be clear. It's cruel, not just because of the difficulty, but also the randomness for every run. No run will be identical, so earning 6,000 gold for a trophy might not even be possible with your specific version of the map. It might not be possible in your 100th attempt. One challenge tasks you to kill all 3 green bats, which sounds simple, right? No, because green bats have a 1 in 400 chance of spawning, and you'll need to find 3 of them in a single run, which is blatant, like pure random number generator luck. And that isn't even close to the most difficult. The most difficult challenge in the entire PlayStation library might be the lowest of the low, a trophy where you have to complete 9 total roguelike runs, one after another, and use every character in the game. And you're not allowed to pick up any items for any of the characters. You can't heal, you can't collect weapons or better gear or spells. You only have your starting gear for all 9 characters, and the maps that spawn are totally random, so you can't predict exactly what you'll encounter in every run. This is one of the most rare and easily one of the most difficult trophies on the PlayStation, or in video games in general. It's unreasonably cruel for such a fun little game. Whoever completes this deserves all the cred that they get. And number 18 is Evil Within. Like Wolfenstein 2, Evil Within has a platinum that is brutal because of one single trophy. There are other challenges that hurt us personally, like completing the game with no upgrades or speed running this really long game in under 5 hours. Both of those do feel at least possible for the average gamer, ready to check out guides and follow instructions though. There's one trophy nothing can prepare you for, the special Akumu mode, which is one of the most unforgiving difficulties in gaming, period. And if you want to earn the Evil Within Platinum Trophy, you have to finish an Akumu mode run. Good news and bad news. Good news is you can save as often as you want, and there are checkpoints, so you can always make progress. The bad news is that you die in one hit. Every bear trap, every tripwire, every invisible enemy will end your run instantly. By the end of this game, you're fighting enemies with guns. It's ridiculous to an extreme that we don't often see in video games. Akumu mode is legendary for how tough it is. You don't just die in one hit. I mean, that's true, but enemies are also faster, they attack more, and more of them appear in encounters. The enemies have been remixed too, so you can't rely on your knowledge of past playthroughs to get by. Hilariously, the best way to win in Akumu mode is to not fight. Whenever possible, just run past enemies, sneak through areas, use one-shot melee weapons for instant kills, that kind of stuff. There's not enough ammo to go around, so savoring every bullet is far too important. If you don't have to fight an enemy, you'll be aiming for the legs so you can run right past. And if things weren't bad enough, you have very limited stamina for running. There's a reason you don't have a stamina bar in Resident Evil 4. And number 17 is Red Dead Redemption 2, an infamously difficult trophy. It's not about completing everything on the game map. There is no fast travel, so that does take a long time, but there's nothing difficult about following a map to grab all the collectibles. The real challenge here is getting a gold medal on every mission. Your first instinct might be to use the replay feature in RDR2 to play missions. There's a list of missions and medal completion available from the options menu, but replaying missions from the menu is a beginner's trap. Every time you reload this way, your character will start with base stats and a beginner horse. That means you'll barely have any Deadeye meter for slow motion shooting, which is essential for completing these missions as quickly and cleanly as possible. If you want a good supply of Deadeye, you gotta painstakingly play through every level from the start of the game, saving and loading those saves so you retain some of your hard-earned upgrades. It's an insane oversight that makes one of the best Rockstar games into a cruel slog, and also getting the gold medals is relentlessly difficult, because of course it is. At number 16 is Resident Evil 5. It puts your Platinum trophy in the hands of a brain-dead AI companion that cannot help you on the highest difficulty level. This game seems really straightforward. The toughest part of earning the Platinum is completing every chapter on Professional difficulty. That's a totally standard requirement for every Resident Evil game, and while Professional is challenging, it's hardly impossible. But 5 is a different beast. It's not a single-player game you can practice and master. It's a co-op game, and even if you're playing with an equally dedicated friend, there's one specific mission that ruins every run. Chapter 2-3 sticks Chris and Shiva in a level-length turret section. You'll ride through the African countryside, shooting up enemy vehicles and fighting a gargantuan monster boss at the end. It's actually one of the easier sequences in the game when you're playing on normal, but on Professional difficulty, the sequence requires robotic perfection. You'll need to shoot the crossbow guys before a single shot fires, and you'll need split-second precision when shooting the big boss, or the mission's just over. The rest of the campaign's hard, but it doesn't compare to any of this. Thanks to little tricks like farming for ammo and saving it between missions, beating the game on Professional is not nearly as bad as other games in the series, but somehow, against all odds, a turret section is the most difficult part of this survival horror game. And number 15 is The Binding of Isaac. Like Crypta the Necrodancer, The Binding of Isaac Platinum it's difficult because of how random the game is, and even worse, the game doesn't really explain what any of its thousands of items do. So you'll need a good memory or the wiki page open at all times to survive a single run, much less dozens of runs, which you'll need to do to complete every unlockable character to earn the Platinum. Really, Isaac is one of the easier roguelikes. A normal run is beatable by even a moderately skilled player. It only gets really difficult when you start exploring the esoteric optional content like Sheol or the Dark Room or any of the other weird secret biomes in this game. The real grind for 100% is completing all the challenges. Challenges make your normal run a lot more difficult. There's a challenge that makes it so you can't shoot your primary weapon, or where all the items are hidden before you pick them up, or starting you with one life, etc. The curse that hides all items is especially bad, because there's a 50-50 chance any item you collect will actually make your character and your playthrough much, much worse. Most items in Binding of Isaac are actually the opposite of good. That's the kind of darkness you have to deal with in order to claim this Platinum trophy, and while it's not as infamously challenging as the Platinum from Necrodancer, it's going to take upwards of like 300 hours to complete, and just having that time is also difficult. At number 14 is Street Fighter V. Some Platinums only get tougher the longer you wait to unlock them. That is the absolute truth for multiplayer games, because it can become legitimately impossible to 100% once the player base dries up. This is not really true for Street Fighter V. It's technically possible to earn $1 million fight money in 2025, but it's a lot harder. Capcom used to give this stuff away for online events, but that's long past. If you want to earn the Platinum trophy nowadays, you have to farm, and you earn 50 FM per online match which is not great. You can also buy it with real money, which is also like just paying to get. Buying things with real money is a trend in Street Fighter V because the other hardest trophy in the game is earned by beating 100 fights in survival mode on Hell difficulty. Early in the game's life cycle, the only way to earn this trophy was painstakingly cheesing out every fight as they get progressively harder. Players used to use Rashid's Eagle Spike or Zangief's Lariat to exploit the 8i, but you need godlike timing to take down the top-tier AI enemies before they juggle you to death on a single blip of HP. Modern players can enjoy the post-patch version where you can refill your health after losing, but it's going to cost you real money. If you're willing to pay up to Daddy Capcom, the platinum might be possible, but still. At number 13 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the most game of any other platinum trophy. You need to finish this gargantuan RPG at least twice, doing everything and making every possible choice to 100% this thing. And there is so much to it. A single partial completion playthrough took us over 100 hours, and we didn't even bother tracking down every weird trinket for Johnny's Hotel. And those trinkets are just diabolical. You need to complete every weird, annoying, obtuse minigame with the highest score to earn a whole bunch of them. And you'll need to play a bunch of these awful minigames on the hard difficulty. Hard difficulty Fort Condor? Oh, blood pressure already rising at the mention. Or how about hard difficulty 3D Brawler? Beating a high score on every minigame for the final side quest is a soul-crushing slog. All the trinkets are missable, forcing a restart if you didn't carefully save. And they're still not. That's not the worst part. Hard mode unlocks legendary and brutal combat challenges at Chadley's Combat Simulator. These are the real test to your skill, but they're really more of a test to your patience. Even early combat challenges like fighting a giant swarm of Cactuar can wipe your party in a split second. They're bad enough. These challenges, where you'll have to fight multiple summon bosses at the same time, they are distressingly difficult. This is a platinum that can steal months of your life. You just have to keep slogging away at it, but at least it isn't randomized. And number 12 is Hollow Knight. Reaching the top of the peak is an impossible feat for most of us in Hollow Knight. The Embrace the Void trophy is the adamantium wall that blocks everyone from earning that sweet platinum. The Godmaster DLC content is cruel and unusual, even for fans of cruel and unusual punishment. To earn the trophy, you have to take on the Pantheon of Hollowness challenge. It's a series of souped-up boss fights with only a handful of breaks where you can rest and heal. There's 42 of them in total, which is a crazy number for a boss rush mode, and even crazier when you consider they're all stronger and faster variants of the normal fights, and it all ends with a brand new boss that's easily the most difficult encounter in the game. It's a challenge that just feels like a slap in the face. You won't get a resting bench until you've fought 11 bosses. It's unreasonable in a way that the rest of the game isn't, and while optional content usually doesn't get in the way of the main game, it does block almost everyone from ever getting a shot at the platinum. Normally we'd say get good and try harder, but that's not enough here. You'll need to open your third eye and ascend to godhood for a chance at beating this boss rush, and it's the last of 4 other boss rushes you also need to complete just to be, more difficult. Bring medication before starting this one, because Embrace the Void is the leading cause of hand cramps. And number 11 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The most infamously difficult platinum trophy from all the Call of Duty series has to be Black Ops 4, because in a baffling decision, Activision skipped the single player entirely, so all the trophies here are for competing in the Blackout Battle Royale mode, usually solo, always with specific characters. Getting a game going for Blackout in our modern internet climate isn't always so easy, and eventually multiplayer achievements like this are just going to be completely impossible to earn, so we're doing another one that's seared into our brains, earning the platinum in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And like so many other platinums, there's really only one big barrier to completion. Beating the Mile High Club mission on realistic difficulty requires the absolute precision of a real Special Forces soldier. Actually, scratch that. Maybe John Wick. You might have to be him to survive the Mile High Club. In this infamous mission, you have to fight through Air Force One and rescue the president before your 3-minute timer's up. On realistic, this requires judicious use of smoke grenades, memorizing where every enemy is located, and a whole lot of praying. After dozens and dozens of runs, we've managed to complete this challenge in 100% Call of Duty 4, which is one of our best gamer achievements. Too bad it was on the Xbox 360. Yeah, sorry PlayStation, but we're not doing this one again for platinum.
Weapons free. Tango down in Section 1 Alpha. Tango down. X-ray down.
And number 10 is Devil May Cry 5. In addition to the difficulties like Akumo mode, Devil May Cry 5 introduces absurdities like Heaven and Hell mode, where everything dies in a single hit. That's tricky enough, but finishing that mode unlocks the real reason so few can earn the Platinum Trophy in DMC 5. To get the Platinum, you have to beat Hell and Hell mode. I mean, you could probably guess what that mode is. You die in one hit, but everything else dies like normal. Not only that, but all autosave checkpoints are disabled in this mode. You're only given 3 lives per level, which you can die and continue from where you left off 3 times before getting sent to the start of the stage. 3 chances sounds like a lot, but we remind you, Dante dies in a single hit. The enemies are as aggressive as the next hardest normal difficulty, Son of Sparta, where the enemies can unleash their own devil triggers. There are more enemies, they're tougher to hurt, and unlike in a shooting game, there's nowhere to hide. Every enemy encounters a white-knuckle roller coaster as you parry and dodge for dear life, hoping against hope one of these supercharged maniac standard enemies doesn't score an easy hit. At least you don't get sent back to the start of the game if you die. That makes it at least a little easier, but not much. At number 9 is The Witness. Puzzle games generally pretty easy to platinum, even when they're randomized like blueprints, because the solutions are static. Once players have figured out the solution and shared it online, everybody has access to it. The Witness gets around that by introducing a final puzzle that stops almost everybody in its tracks. This one's all about the big mountain puzzle. After finishing the game, returning to the mountain unlocks one final challenge that's completely randomized and timed. Solving the puzzle's not the hard part, it's doing it before the time limit expires. The final challenge is a series of 14 puzzles to solve in a row. Each time you reset the puzzle, the individual tiles change randomly. Even the locations are random, so you'll need to remember where each tile is located so you can sprint, saving as much time as possible. You don't have minutes to mull over these puzzles. This is a boss rush requiring every skill you've learned throughout the whole game, and if you were like us, you kept a huge notebook of explanations for every puzzle type. It only helps so much though, because you'll need to move as fast as possible too, and some configurations of puzzles take longer than others. If you get unlucky, it can feel impossible to complete. It is possible, but most will never get this far.
We're all working hard.
I just want to read it right. We're going to be hearing this a lot of times. Every little thing matters because it gets so multiplied.
It's good. It's already good.
Thanks. Yeah. But we've kind of picked high goalposts. Every little bit matters.
At number 8 is Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, one of the most inexplicably long and difficult modern platinum trophies in a game that shouldn't be that hard is getting 100% in Crash 4. Like, getting 100% in most Crash Bandicoot games is pretty simple and straightforward. Even if you're completing the speedrun challenges, it's fair, but there's nothing fair about the platinum for Crash 4. This run has become legendary for how much time it adds to the game. A normal playthrough is about 10 hours. A platinum playthrough takes over 100. That's because there are so many collectibles. Every level has gems, and every level has an inverted version that is only mildly different, but required, and there are the tape levels, the time trial relics, the perfect relics for completing levels without dying and breaking every crate. The time trials and perfect relics are the reason this platinum takes so long. It's just so much replaying of every level. You'll need to play 38 levels 4 times each at minimum, and that doesn't even count the inverted versions, which you'll also need to play. It's a grueling death march towards the platinum, and if you stick with it for the required 100 hours, you're a more dedicated Bandicoot fan than us. At number 7 is Vanquish, the blisteringly fast third-person shooter. An incredibly fun game, but if you're aiming for platinum, you're gonna be experiencing some trouble. The monstrous Tactical Challenger trophy is legendary among trophy hunters because it'll just chew up your cyber-enhanced hero and spit him out. The main story isn't the problem here, it's the tactical challenges that stomp a hole in your soul. The first 5 are unlocked by completing chapters in the main story, and while they provide a good challenge, they're pretty mundane. A human being can complete these 5 challenges. It's not until Tactical Challenge 6 that Vanquish becomes your own personal torture chamber. The challenge is insane, baffling. It's what separates a great player from a perfect one, and it absolutely requires perfection. You'll have to fight 5 waves of robots in a row that deal extreme damage. At any moment, these enemies can kill your guy basically instantly, so you gotta be dodging pretty much every second. Many players use exploits like a grenade glitch that lets you throw grenades for free and use over 200 grenades to clear this 20-minute slug. Once again, big challenge makes a pretty casual platinum trophy into a nightmare. At number 6 is Injustice 2. RNG's the bane of the trophy hunter's existence. And while the most difficult games to platinum are often roguelikes, there's one fighting game requires random stuff to win. Injustice 2 has way too much loot to slap on your characters, there's way too much grinding, and unlockable moves that are totally random whether you'll unlock them at all. There's multiple trophies tied to using unlockable moves to defeat opponents, and defeating an opponent with an unlockable move sounds easy, right? Yes, sure, but you're doing it with a move that you might never earn even after 365 days of grinding. So, yeah, some of these moves are so rare, some players have reported playing dailies for more than a year and never getting the unlockable moves they need for the trophies. That's kind of diabolical. We didn't really think NetherRealm was capable of that sort of thing. Now that online events aren't as common in Injustice 2, earning just about anything is actually way harder. And if you don't have friends to cheese trophies like beating an opponent with 90% health while you have 10, then this platinum is flat out impossible. Or I guess you can train and get better than an Evo champion. That's your choice, though. At number 5 is XCOM 2. The platinum for XCOM 2 could be summed up in 2 words: Iron Man Impossible. The impossible difficulty is actually called Legendary in this game, but it's the same as XCOM Enemy Unknown. You'll need to complete a full run with manual saves disabled, and the enemies are extremely difficult. The sequel changed the difficulty's name, but it's still impossible. It's a totally unfair difficulty that forces the player to use every exploit in the book. You'll need to know every trick to overcome the odds, and you'll need to do it for a very, very long time, because Iron Man Impossible, it takes dozens of hours. Luckily, you're totally fine to reload autosaves that the game generates, so you're not stuck on your computer for 24 hours straight. Those autosaves absolutely do allow you to save scum if you're failing a mission or losing useful soldiers, especially if you're creating autosave backups on an external drive or a cloud like a dirty cheater. But hey, if the game's gonna cheat, why can't we?
Spirits await their turn at vengeance.
Weirdly, at the highest levels, the expansions also make the challenge easier. The new soldier classes are busted in a good way with the right moves, and the new alien hunters add unpredictability. Like, it's not so bad once you're good enough to play on Legendary. If you can survive the highest difficulty, a couple surprise aliens they're not gonna slow you down.
As we focus our energy, our power increases and can be unleashed upon our enemies.
Seize any advantage.
On the move!
And number 4 is Returnal, yet another roguelike, randomizes itself onto our list. These games are highly difficult, designed for multiple playthroughs. They're basically built to aggravate trophy hunters. Returnal, a beautiful bullet hell third-person shooter that only becomes a completionist's nightmare after finishing your first run. After reaching the end, there's a second quest challenge that tasks your displaced astronaut with finding hidden collectibles that may or may not spawn in each biome. This is a game where you can explore a single biome for an hour or longer, and the second quest collectibles are only guaranteed to spawn in specific configurations of randomly generated rooms. It's a crapshoot that's designed to waste your time. Thankfully, you don't have to find all the items in a single playthrough, but that randomness is the real killer. You'll have to restart over and over again, hoping to find the spawn, then progressing slightly further to repeat the process all over again.
The song. Why are you playing it?
And number 3 is Outlast 2. How would you feel about playing a scary game with enemies that charge directly at you, kill you in one hit, and force you back to the start after death? Outlast 2 forces you to do all that, all while speedrunning through and forcing you to do it in pitch black. The hardest trophy in this very bad horror game doesn't allow battery reloads, so your only light is extremely limited. Most of the game's pitch black. You basically have to memorize how to move through the world. It's like playing blindfolded, and any mistake forces a total reset. The insane difficulty mode has no checkpoints, no manual saves, and no batteries. You'll have to complete the game in a single session, which depending on your skill level could take 3 or 4 hours, all while sweating through your shirt because the next dumb enemy might be your last. There's one sequence with a big monster shooting crossbow bolts at you that may require a psychic connection to the developers to fully understand. If you stand in the wrong spot, you just die. No logic, no reason. Walking on the wrong blade of grass gets you a crossbow. We're almost thankful the game's so bad because we'll never feel the need to unlock the platinum ourselves.
We have you. It's okay. Shh. We have you. The gospel isn't done yet. You will record your own resurrection. You will complete your gospel.
And number 2 is Bloodborne. Every FromSoft game has a tough platinum trophy. Elden Ring might have the longest playtime, but all the extra nonsense in Bloodborne makes it our pick for this list. There's a mechanic called the Chalice Dungeons in Bloodborne, where you can create randomly generated dungeons. It's not a roguelike with all that randomness, but it doesn't really affect the trophy either. What does affect the trophy are the Cursed Chalice Dungeons. These dungeons permanently lower your maximum health by 50%, and if you want to unlock the last trophy in Bloodborne, you have to play through a Defiled Chalice dungeon with the cursed effect. There's 2 bosses in these dungeons that are diabolical and stop platinum hunters in their tracks, the Watchdog and the Amygdala. These creatures are legendary bosses and rank with the most difficult in the entire FromSoft canon. The fact that there's this weird side mode that's not in any other Dark Souls game, and it's some of the most advanced content in the entire series, well, we had to talk about it here. And finally, at number 1 is Star Ocean: The Last Hope. The rare king of platinum trophies is this. It's not about difficulty here, the problem is missable trophies. To complete challenges, you need to play through this 40-hour JRPG 4 times, at least. There's no way to shortcut it, these are full playthroughs, each with a specific goal in mind. Sometimes you need to hunt down collectibles, other times you need to farm hundreds of kills on enemies and earn over 810 trophies. Do not worry, these are just in-game challenges you need to complete and are totally separate from the PlayStation trophies that your friends see. Actually, that sounds a lot worse than normal trophies, so you'll need to complete exponentially more challenges just to earn a handful of trophies connected to battles. It's an absolutely insane grind. Players reported taking over 800 hours to earn the platinum, sometimes over 1,000, all for a pretty mediocre low-budget action RPG. Platinums are an awesome reward, but anyone collecting this trophy deserves financial compensation from the developers.
Come on, now's our chance! Eat this! Rising Blade! Eat this! I was just getting warmed up. Bring 'em on!
That's 20 completely insane platinum trophies that almost no one's ever going to get. We tried to include the biggest hitters in the PlayStation library, but let us know what games you think are the hardest platinums. There's a whole lot of options out there, so leave us a comment, let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time, right here on GameRanx.